The skilling team is very excited to collaborate with Madras Management Association to bring this event, Breaking the Glass Ceiling, Chasing the Dream. It gives me great pleasure to introduce Chairperson of FLO Chennai, Ms. Raji Raju. Ms. Raji Raju is very passionate about working with startups and budding entrepreneurs and is also an angel investor. In 1991, Raji was the joint promoter of Vetri Software, which was a pioneer of BPO and IT development. She has an e-commerce platform called Sthalam and has served on several boards. I invite Ms. Raji Raju to give the welcome address.
Thank you, Sandhya. Good evening, everybody. It's wonderful to see a good mix of students and pioneers who are here, entrepreneurs. Thank you for being here. FICCI FLO, which is the Federation of Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industries, the ladies' organization, is a national body of eminent women with approximate membership of over 10,000 women pan-India and has its presence in about 19 states. This apex body has its national presence in Delhi and through its chapters promotes empowerment and skilling in women from all strata of society. In FLO Chennai, we are a strong group of over 560 accomplished, aspirational and dynamic members. We've been creating women leaders in Chennai for the past 30 years and we strive to work for women's economic empowerment from top to bottom. I have this great honor to be the 30th chairperson of FLO Chennai. Some of the verticals we have at FLO Chennai are Startup Cell, Digital Literacy, Financial Literacy, Skill Development, Legal Cell, to name a few. Today's event is championed by the Skilling vertical headed by Vanita Venugopal and her team. We appreciate our collaboration, our partnership with MMA and Group Captain Vijay Kumar, who has consistently provided support to FLO Chennai. In this splendid hall, we've had the privilege of hosting some very outstanding speakers. Talking of outstanding speakers, we have truly remarkable entrepreneurs with us today. One who has pioneered at a very young age in the field of Indian cinema. Another one who, being a third-gen entrepreneur, has grown a unique niche field of business and culture. And this is being moderated by another young entrepreneur who has found a niche business idea herself in medical marketing, if I may call it that. All of them have broken the glass ceiling by believing in themselves, building the skill sets to achieve, and have become the best version of themselves. I'm truly honored to have you all with us here today. Thank you. I'd like to take this opportunity to invite Group Captain Vijay Kumar to come and welcome the audience.
Good evening. Thank you, Raji. It's, as I always say, it's a pleasure to collaborate with FLO Chennai because this one organization, very, very rarely we collaborate. This organization we collaborate because very professionally managed and each of the members are so passionate. So it becomes easy for MMA to collaborate and do the job. And to say about MMA is more than 65 years old and we have over 8,000 members. We do some 700 events in a year, about 700, 800 events in a year. And we've got chapters located at different parts of Tamil Nadu and Puducherry. And as she said, it's a beautiful auditorium. Yes, it's become very popular. When we become popular, you also have to meet the expectations. Next week, we have a very, very major event of Roshkar Mela done by the Government of India, where the Prime Minister is giving the appointment letters to more than 100 of employees from Chennai Income Tax Department. That event is happening here. So you'll be joining us online from Delhi and talking to the people here. So we like that we do a lot of events to say some few events which is happening next few days, which we really request any of the FICCI FLO members are most welcome to attend. That is a discussion on dance of disruption and creation. We have get some outstanding speakers. Nandan Nandakishore, who is a global CEO of Nestle, former Neeraj Chandra, former CEO of Britannia, Balraman, is a former MD of Pons, Kant Shastri is the founder of Crayon Data. Mr. Mali is President MMA will be joining this discussion. Lakshmi Narayan, MD of Sundaram Home and Shubha Kumar. So we bring in some very, very important events. One event we also bring on artificial intelligence. This is one, somehow every month we have a discussion on this. Arun Sharaf, who is a speaker from USA, is on a visit to India. He is going to be talking to us. We have a different subject other than the management. We also do something on reforming the democratic processes and challenges and opportunities. We have again an outstanding speaker, Professor Tirlochan Shastri, is coming from Bangalore. He is former Dean of Indian Institute of Management. And we also do something different because, you know, the post-meeting, what happened in US between Biden and the Premier of China. The China plus one is things are changing and a lot of insights are coming and how it is going to impact the business individuals and relations between the countries and also the geopolitical issues. In this context, we are having an event on, this is an online event because the speakers are from all over the world, China and the emerging world order. We are getting Ashok Kanta, is the former ambassador to China and he is also a director of China Studies. Then Srikant Kondapalli is a head of China Studies from Jawaharlal Nehru University. Then we also have Indrani Bakshi. She is a former editor of Times of India. Now she is running her own consultancy and also think tank. Satyamurthy will be there. So like that, many of them are there. I'm not going through the thing because if I keep telling it, I think 2 or 3 of them which are very good. So I take this opportunity to welcome all the viewers watching on this program live from all over Tamil Nadu, all over India. As usual, if you have any questions, please send your questions to the number which is flashed on your screen. Our team is, they'll compile and place it before the moderator to pick and choose the question which is relevant to this evening program, they will think. Once again, thank you so much for each one of you joining us this evening. It's always a pleasure to work with Flow, and I urge upon you, please do join. If you're not able to join, you can watch it live and you can see our YouTube channel. We do a lot of work on these lines and you will really like it, and we look forward to your feedback so that we always would like to improve upon what we do. And thank you, Raji, once again for collaborating with MMA. It's indeed a privilege and pleasure to us. And also let me acknowledge all this I couldn't have done without the support of the managing committee headed by the president. The president MMA, Mr. Mali, is here, Mahalingam, and they are the one who drive us to bring the best in us. And big thanks to Mali for all the support what you are doing, and think we are able to do what you think is very, very appropriate. Thank you once again. Sit back and enjoy the evening. As much as you, I'm eagerly looking forward to listen to 3 outstanding women entrepreneurs, and I think we'll learn how to break many ceilings, not only glass ceilings. Thank you.
Like Ms. Raji Raju said, breaking the glass ceiling, chasing the dream is an apt description for the panelists this evening. Ms. Archana Kalpathi is the CEO of AGS Cinemas, the feature film exhibition company of the group, which commenced its operations in 2008 and has emerged as one of the favored multiplex destinations for the moviegoers in Chennai. She's also actively involved in the distribution business of the group, apart from being the executive producer for movies produced by the group company AGS Entertainment. Thank you, Archana, for coming today. Ms. Rohini Manian is the CEO of Global Adjustment Services Pvt Ltd. And is a third-generation entrepreneur. Her work straddles 2 apparently disparate fields, business and culture. She also serves as the Vice Chair of Global Adjustments Foundation, a non-profit organization. Thank you for coming here today. In conversation with Ms. Archana and Ms. Rohini is Ms. Roshnini Raju. Ms. Roshni is a sonologist with a passion for demystifying medicine. She founded her company MedBite in 2016 as a content production company focused on the medical and healthcare market. Thank you for agreeing to be the moderator. We're really looking forward to this conversation, and we request Ms. Archana, Ms. Rohini, and Ms. Roshni to come onto the stage, please. Like Group Captain said, we'll throw it open to question and answers at the end of the panel.
Hello, am I audible? Good evening, everyone. I'm delighted to be here with women I respect immensely. I would like to say we are privileged to say that the metaphoric glass ceiling extends beyond gender. And it encompasses the multifaceted struggles, obstacles, barriers that individuals face when striving for excellence in their professional journeys. Today, I hope to dive into some interesting stories by Rohini and Archana, who have defied conventional limitations set by their respective industries, by challenging status quo and redefining success. So I'd like to start right at the beginning. I know that you guys were given many opportunities and offers. I know, Rohini, you had a brief stint in Daimler before joining Global Adjustments, and Archana, you were offered roles in IBM, Google, and had a brief stint in turning around hotels before starting AGS Cinemas. So I want to start off by how was your journey? How did you get to where you are? Just fill us in on that. Archana, you want to start?
First of all, good evening, everyone, and thank you for having me here. It's an honor and a privilege to be part of this panel discussion today. My journey was, actually, I do come from a family business. My family was into the IT and IT services industry, so I'm a computer science engineer that's what I studied. And we sold our business to Rakesh Jhunjhunwala, and we had a non-compete when I joined the family business, so we did not have a business to start with. And that was when the first project was actually in Ooty. So my dad said, why don't you go and, turn it around and flip it. So that was the first project that was given. I think I was 21. And it was just living in Ooty by myself. It was a lot of fun. And I sort of got to learn many aspects, because real estate, as Rohini would say, has a lot of nuances to it, right? From government approvals to handling contractors, vendors. And hotels, again, have a whole new skill set that you need to sort of learn. So that was the first project, which was the old Ooty Das Prakash, which we bought, renovated, and then sold. So that was the first project.
And then after that, how did you enter into?
So I liked design. I liked sort of managing and running hospitality. And I love movies. So there was this old Royal Theatre that came for sale for 4 crores. And so I convinced my dad to sort of invest in that idea. And I said, multiplexes, only Satyam had renovated and Inox had just opened. So I thought it was a good idea to have a multiplex chain in Tamil Nadu. So that's how the idea started.
Brilliant, brilliant. Amazing. And Rohini, how about you?
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for having me here today. And I'm especially happy because Roshnini and I went to school together, and it's nice to reconvene over here. And Archana is someone I look up to immensely in business. So it's really nice to share the stage with her. So my story is a little similar. My family was in infrastructure. My grandfather started an infrastructure business, and by the time I was ready to join the workforce, my father had sold our infrastructure business to one of the world's largest players, Eurovia. And from there, we got into the space of real estate. And when I came back, I thought I need to have a little bit of professionalism and work with an MNC. So I joined Daimler. And I realized very soon that my passion was for real estate. And I always say my first love is real estate, and that's how I ended up joining the family business.
Oh, selling sunset, huh? No, I wanted to know, you guys have made such leaps in your industries. I wanted to know today, what change have you brought into your companies or to the industries that you're in?
So for the change for me is that I've taken it global. We were always focused on only India. Now we have a global market. We look at real estate globally, focusing on India, Dubai, and the United Kingdom. That was a very big change for us. The second thing for us is we've incorporated a lot of technology and automated a lot of things and made the process more transparent for our customers.
Wonderful. What about you?
So I've sort of been in this business for about 17 years now. So it's a long journey, and the movie business was very fragmented when we started. There were multiple small players. So I think now there are few larger players in the multiplex space, and the movie making business has transformed. And I think us and Sun TV have sort of corporatized it to a reasonable extent. So both our production houses, we don't have any cash and we don't deal with cash. I think that is one of the biggest changes that we have made. And we've also been working with the government to sort of try and get industry status for the film space as well. Still long ways to go, but baby steps. Yeah.
I'm happy you brought up technology, and that's a significant conversation today, how technology and AI is impacting different industries. So I wanted to know how you guys are adapting to that change, and not just ending the conversation there. See, Rohini, you're a third generation entrepreneur entering into a family business where I'm sure there'll be employees who are older than you. Getting them to accept technology and change must have been a struggle. So I'd like you to tell us a bit more about how you went through bringing in tech and AI into your industry.
They first had to accept me as being a much younger person. So that was the first thing that I had to do, is earn the respect of all the people who work for us. They worked for my mom and dad earlier, and I had very big shoes to fill. So the first thing I had to do is know my industry really well. You have to know twice as much if you have to get other people's respect. So after I worked on that, and I could value add to the room and I could value add to the team, then I brought in the changes of trying to automate things, get software in. I got a really good company to come and develop our own app, and now customers have real-time information and everything is much faster and smoother.
I can imagine. And you mentioned that your industry is very fragmented. You're trying to bring in industry status, but also now bringing in the conversation of tech and AI. Is there any scope for that in the film industry?
So we have to be very, very current. So because in cinema everything changes, right? So now AI and tech is very big for us, because I think 15 years back, even projection was not digital, it was analog. Now it's all digital projection. And the amount of VFX that is being done in films now is extreme. So we, out of 2 hours, 40 minutes, around 90 minutes is CGI. And most of how the way films are being shot now has changed. It's all green matte. And we are in the process of rolling out artificial intelligence-based production studios, which is going to be the next big thing. So the whole concept of making a set and shooting in the set is going to go. So it's all going to be virtual reality production. And that's going to be the next step. And AI is also taking away a lot of jobs in our industry now, because we used to have colorists and artists. So your VFX used to give a lot of jobs. So right now, in fact, there is a strike in the US where they are opposing a lot of companies from moving to AI and insisting on having people in the workforce. So it is a challenge for us, but cinema has always been at the forefront of adapting, because audiences will catch on to it very quickly. So we have to be always doing what is the latest.
I completely agree with you. Coming from a content production company with ChatGPT, I completely feel what you're feeling over there. It's difficult to stay current without losing your current position. It's very, very difficult. Now, you both, you were mentioning that you had to first gain this respect and gain this trust, which I would say is part of this whole metaphoric glass ceiling. Other than gender, trust, respect, and getting that is something that's quite a struggle. So Rohini, do you have any anecdotes you can share with us of how you went through that experience?
Sure. So when I decided to join Global Adjustments, and I'm part of Radiance and Global Adjustments, and when I decided to join, people in the company had more experience and I had age on my side. So I lived, I lived shorter than the amount of years they worked with my parents. So that was something I first had to realize. And I had to give them, that respect, and I had to give them that listening ear and make them feel like I'm an ally and make them feel like I really care about the amount of work and effort they've put into our companies, right? They are the core and backbone of our company. That was something that I did. The second thing that I mentioned before is work twice as hard. So I got to know more. And once you know more, people, then they do respect you and they do come your way. Although it may be a little different from what they used to, it's much easier and smoother to work together.
Earning that respect, absolutely. And Archana, for you, it was, I think the trust factor came in getting someone to trust in your vision. You started AGS Cinemas after your family was in production and distribution, right? So how did you get them to believe in you?
So I think I was privileged, I think, because I was lucky that they had enough money to invest in my idea. But you also need to get a team to trust you, right? And for that, you need to be consistent. You need to show up every day, irrespective of whatever happens, right? And failures do happen. So I sort of built trust by breaking things and then fixing it and then breaking it again. And I continue to do so because that's how you end up finally breaking the glass ceiling. So.
Absolutely. I love that you said that. In fact, one of my questions I wanted to ask was, failures are the stepping stone to success, they say. So just because you were talking about it, can you tell us a story of one of the things that you have broken and fixed, or something that you've, made you stronger in your journey?
Yeah, like the first multiplex that I built, right? I didn't know you had to get 14 NOCs from the government.
Oh my gosh.
So I just thought I need a building approval because I'm building a building. So I got a CMD approval and I finished it. And when I went for a C form was when they told me that I needed, 12 other approvals that I have to get. So that was my first, and I was 22 or 23, I think. So it took me a year and a half, but I had to go and sit with every officer, apologize to them, tell them I made a mistake, then ask them how to fix it, because my family has no idea about the business either, so no one could come in and fix it for me. So you only learn by making mistakes, and I think you have to have the courage to face it as well, because everyone fails. I think it's inevitable that we fail. You just have to pick yourself up, not be too hard on yourself, and also forgive yourself sometimes.
Absolutely, absolutely. The key is forgiving yourself at the end of it, not being too hard on yourself. What about you, Rohini? Have you had any interesting anecdotes of failure where you've got up and just made yourself stronger?
So I tried to start various other businesses by being the investing partner, the silent partner, and 3 of my businesses, I just had to decide that it's time to cut your losses and shut them down. Like Aka said, I'm also lucky to be privileged and have the ability to do that. But it taught me a very important lesson. Taught me that do what you're good at and do really, really well at it. And so I've decided that anything I do will be allied to real estate.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now, I think one similar point that the 3 of us have is that we were all pretty young getting into business. I was 24. How old were you?
21.
21, and 21 for you as well. So did you face any, I would also say is a glass ceiling metaphor, that age definitely can be something that's not on your side when you're starting business that early. I remember there were multiple times that I felt like that itself was half the battle in any arena that I was in. So do you have any stories you can share of when you were young and you had to kind of...
I'm super thick-skinned, right? Like, it doesn't get to me at all.
That's a great thing.
But many times so in AGS, we have a policy where all of us are in uniform. So now I've started dressing up for events. Otherwise, I'll always be in my AGS t-shirt and jeans. I think Sandhya's seen me in that avatar many times. So I'll be at the box office, or I'll be at the concession, sort of selling popcorn, and some customer would have an issue and start screaming. So I would be like, I can help you. And they'd be like, please call the manager, someone senior, because, we want this fixed. I'd be like, no, I'll try and fix it for you. And I can't tell them that I own the place. So yeah, it happens. But I've never seen it as a barrier, honestly.
That's wonderful. That's really wonderful.
I never understood it, right? When you don't know,
ignorance is bliss.
Yeah, ignorance is bliss, yeah.
What about you, Rohini?
So I used to go to a lot of conferences before, and still do now, a lot less after my daughter's in the years where she needs me. But I used to go to a lot of these international real estate and relocation conferences. And definitely, I'd be hoping, I hope no one asks what my age is. I have the title of CEO and I'm only 22. So that was definitely something.
You guys never were looking in front of the mirror wishing for the white hair to grow in so that you look more mature?
Honestly, it was a big advantage, because when I messed up for the first theater, everyone was so sweet to me, because they were like, okay, this kid is trying to do something here. Let me help her.
Well done. Using that to your advantage. Well done. Well done. So another common point and that I wanted to touch upon was that we 3 carried this very heavy title of being working moms. And that has a lot of responsibility. I can't count the number of times that I've had a tug of war between crisis at home and crisis at work. So how do you guys balance motherhood and professionalism?
I think I'm very forgiving of myself. I'm quite, I forgive myself. blessed to have a very understanding spouse. I think that is half the battle won. And not a very traditional spouse. So he carries half the load. So he's a co-parent in every sense.
That's wonderful.
And I think I'm lucky for that. But it is tough. I used to take him with me to work, and I believe that for women to be able to progress, you have to just see your child as part of you. So I would never feel embarrassed to sort of take him with me to my office or let him be. So he would be running around and doing his own thing. And because sometimes you will have meetings and you can't, both of us are working parents. So I think it's important that it has to be equal at home. If it's not equal, then it becomes very, very difficult.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And Rohini, how about you? How do you balance?
So I went back into the workforce when my daughter was 9 days old. I never took time off from that. I think I have a really, really supportive family that was really helpful to me, especially because I'm a single parent. So it was very important for me to have that support system. I'm still figuring it out. The mom guilt, I'm still dealing with it and figuring it out. But my daughter is also very understanding. She understands. So I tell her that mama has to go to work. That's my responsibility. School is yours. So talking to them and explaining it to them, kids are really smart and resilient.
Does it ever hinder any of your work timings? How do you balance that? Do you have very strict, this is where I end, work-life balance, so to speak?
So work and home just keep overlapping into each other, and we're just non-stop there. I'm sure you can all relate. There's no work, home. No, not yet. I haven't figured it out.
No
If you know
working.
how, tell me.
I'm struggling myself, hence the questions. What about you, Archana? Have you?
I embrace the fact there's no balance.
Wonderful. So there's no hope. Basically, I wanted to know, as women, we do have to carry this entire emotional load. Of course, we were talking about work-life balance and everything, and this definitely plays a role on your mental health at the end of the day. How do you guys unwind? How do you make sure? I mean, we said that there is no work-life balance. I definitely struggle drawing a line between bringing work home and making sure that my kid doesn't realize that what happened at work stays at work and what happens at home stays at home. But do you guys have any sort of meditative activities or any unwinding things that just kind of clear your mind at the end of the day?
For me, it's fitness. I really enjoy the 1 hour that I do, either, kickboxing or my workout or anything like that. It gives me that release. It gives me that space. And also, I love to spend time. I have 7 dogs, and I love to spend time with them. It's my...
Did you say 7 dogs?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
They are my happy space. I love spending time with them. Apart from, of course, my daughter.
It's wonderful. And how about you?
I hardly get much time, and I think my industry, you definitely need mental health. I do read a lot, so I think that is my way of winding. I pick up
Get away. Yes.
Yeah, I just love to read. So but now I end up reading a lot of scripts, so that also overlaps into work. So yeah.
I appreciate the honesty. So I thought just to kind of make things a little more fast-paced and interactive and fun, we could do a quick rapid-fire round. Would you guys be up for that? Yeah? Okay. So I'll just shoot questions, say whatever jumps at the top of your head. So I'll start with you, Rohini, and then I'll just alternate between you two. So Rohini, share something that's on your bucket list.
I'd like to trek to Mount Everest base camp.
Interesting. Archana, name a place you have traveled to that has left a lasting impression.
Finland.
Oh, wow. Northern Lights? Wonderful. Rohini, if you could instantly master a new skill or hobby, what would it be?
Meditation.
Yes. Archana, if you could have any conversation with a person, dead or alive, who would it be?
Steve Jobs.
Nice. I'd agree with that one. Rohini, what would be your spirit animal?
A horse.
Why?
Because they're on the go. They're getting out there. They're winning. That's what I associate with.
Oh, that's wonderful. Archana, what's your current favorite song?
I don't have.
Come on, I'm sure you're listening to so many songs on sets and stuff. Any
No, it's because I
earworms?
listen to it for work, right? So it's no, I always listen to Taylor Swift.
Oh,
yeah.
wonderful.
That's on my playlist on a daily basis, or any Rahman song for that matter.
I'm also a solid Rahman junkie, I have to agree. Rohini, what's the most exotic or unusual food you've ever tried?
Without knowing, crickets in China.
Oh, how was that?
Awful.
Archana, share a hidden talent no one here knows about.
I can draw reasonably well.
Really? Rohini, describe a moment when you felt like you were in the right place at the right time.
Right now.
Oh. And Archana, share a personal mantra or life philosophy that guides your decisions.
I take it easy.
Don't take it too serious. I love that. So that was my round of my rapid fire round. I want to give a round of applause to our wonderful panelists. You guys were awesome. So I actually just have one more question that I want to ask you before I pass it on to the audience where they can ask you themselves. And that is, with breaking the glass ceiling and chasing your dreams as the topic, what is the legacy you two want to leave behind? The legacy.
I want to make films that people will remember for 100 years at least. So
Like
the
time
classics,
capsules.
yeah.
Wonderful. And you?
I want to make the Indian real estate market, I want to be a leader in the Indian real estate market to make it transparent and easy for all buyers and all sellers and make that marketplace happen.
That's wonderful. Hers is done. We need it. Do we have any questions from the audience? Thank you. Yeah, I'm happy I have space. This is for Archana. This is for you. As a leader in the cinema industry, how do you encourage diversity and inclusion within your organization?
It is very difficult to achieve diversity because we are about 95% men in a film set. But what we are trying to actively do is at least get interns from various colleges to actually come in and do internships in departments in production. With cinemas, it's relatively easy because it's like any other hospitality business. But with respect to making films, I am actively looking for young directors and young DOPs. So the direction team will always have at least 1 or 2 women ADs. The DOP team will have it. So we are, as a company, sort of insisting that they take. And we provide a very safe environment for them because it's a responsibility for us because we travel across the world and we put them in situations where it can be unsafe. So that's extra responsibility, but I think we need to do it because I want to see this at 50% at some point of time.
Yeah, absolutely. Wonderful. Rohini, they have one for you. In navigating the fields of business and culture, what strategies have you found effective in promoting gender equality and breaking barriers?
So in our office, I'm really happy to say my entire leadership team is women, all of them.
That would be amazing.
And one of our core things is encouraging women. So we have a foundation where we champion women. We feel that you champion a woman, she'll build your nation. And for us, gender equality is one of the most important things. We're very, very keen on it when we are hiring. We have a full diversity policy where we look at taking people who have special abilities also onto our team, and we've been successful in doing that. So I think it goes in place where it goes a little bit with our value system and culture, and that's how that comes in.
I think the change begins with us. If we don't do it, who else will? Absolutely. I'm sorry, I didn't mention the names of who wrote these. This question was from Shruti, and the previous question was from Maya. Archana, there's another one. Can you share specific strategies or initiatives you have implemented to break the glass ceiling in the entertainment sector? This is from Sanjana.
I don't think I've yet broken that glass ceiling in the entertainment sector, honestly, but it's small steps. I think first thing is actually being a producer. I think that itself is a first. And listening to stories and sort of like making sure that people actually watch it. With respect to breaking I think it's a long way. I think maybe as you mentioned, if I get that 50% and if you see 50% of women behind the screen, that is probably when it is broken.
Yeah. I mean, I have T.S. Karthik just asking a question saying, do they create the glass ceiling and we have to break it? And I would answer that saying, yeah.
I think every generation there is a glass ceiling, right?
Exactly.
And you have to keep raising the bar. I think more than a glass ceiling, I think you're sort of doing a high jump and the bar is moving up.
Yeah.
And sometimes is a glass ceiling mental for us? Is it something that we imagine is there? Are we limiting ourselves? That's something I often ponder about.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, which is why I wanted to take this conversation beyond just the gender biases that are there, which is usually with the connotation of glass ceiling, and actually say the struggles that are there in leadership. It doesn't just have to do with the gender. Looks like I have a question as well, which is, how do you balance your role as a sonologist and founder while also contributing to the empowerment of women in the healthcare sector? So I don't quite provide jobs in the healthcare sector. Mine's more in the marketing space. So I do look for graphic designers, 3D artists, and content creators in the who are females. My content writers, I try to look for doctors, especially women, who are in the second phase of their life, I'd like to say, where they're balancing a family and no longer able to practice, so they're able to write. I think that's where I try to encourage women empowerment. But other than that, in the healthcare sector, there's not much more that I contribute. Rohini, I have a question for you. How do you see the intersectionality of gender and cultural intelligence playing a role in leadership, especially in your diverse clientele at Global Adjustment Services? This is from Revati.
Can you repeat the first part?
I'm so sorry. Yeah. How do you see the intersectionality of gender and cultural intelligence playing a role in the leadership, especially in your diverse clientele at Global Adjustment Services?
Good question. So we work with about 89 nationalities. At any given point in time, we'll have about 30 different nationalities of customers. And gender and cultural intelligence, it's all emotional intelligence. It's all your EQ. And I feel that we've groomed our team and we've trained our team a lot to respect and understand different people's cultures. And from those cultures come different thoughts and different opinions. And that's how we deal with it, by understanding their culture and looking at what would be acceptable to them before we approach a situation.
And Archana, one for you. This is, how did you overcome challenges in the traditionally male-dominated film industry to reach the position of CEO at AGS Cinemas?
I think a lot of luck, but also I think I didn't give up, and consistency. I think hard work, showing up every day, and being at it consistently. I think that is what takes you, because that's the only thing that it takes to build a business, finally, that lasts for a long time.
Did you guys actually face significant gender biases in your industry when you entered? I know that there are, I mean, in the film industry, as per even in the question and even in the statistics that you said, it's quite a disparity. But did it affect your work in any way?
We can't let it affect us. I think that is where being thick-skinned and sort of saying, I want to do this, and no one should be able to stop you from doing or stopping your dream, because we have one life and we have one chance at what we want to do. So other people's opinions or their closed mindset should not impact the way you think. And that is something that I have learned over the last 17 years, because if you let someone outside, because our parents have invested so much in us and built us, you should not let some stranger break us down. Absolutely. So that is,
I couldn't agree more.
I think, very, very important.
I couldn't agree more. And what about you, Rohini? Did you face any specific gender biases in your?
In our industry, definitely it's very much there in the real estate space. 99% of the developers are all, and at the leadership level, are men. So I'm the one-off. But why not? I'm very happy that I'm the one-off. So I get my respect for it. I know my market, so I take it as a big advantage that I'm the one-off.
Good for you, absolutely. I have one more for you, Rohini. As the CEO and editor-in-chief of Culturama, how does the magazine contribute to the discussions and breaking the glass ceiling and gender equality? discussions around breaking the glass ceiling and gender equality. It's from Vijay.
So Culturama is India's only cultural magazine for expats. Now we've actually taken it only into a digital version. And I'm not really quite sure how it breaks any glass ceiling. It's just something we are passionate about. And it's equal. There's equal contribution from men and women. And the readership as well in it is equal.
Wonderful. I'm happy that it's equal. I have a question for myself here. This is from Logesh. As a founder of a content production company in the healthcare sector, what advice do you have for aspiring female entrepreneurs looking to break through in this industry? So advice-wise, I guess you just have to be consistent and be driven. I like what Archana said, which is turn up every day and be consistent with what you're doing. When I started medical marketing 7 years ago, it was very taboo because ethically you cannot market medicine. Thank you. But today, I think people are moving around to the mindset of educating and propagating a message in medicine. So in terms of female entrepreneurs getting into content production, getting into just in general entrepreneurship, you just have to keep doing it, and there will be struggles as any leader would face, and you just have to move forward and turn up every day. Archana, there's one more for you. In the era, how do you see? Thank you. In the era of OTT, how do you see your future in the multiplexes?
Future is quite bright because I think there was a small slump right after COVID, but now people are back to the theaters. In fact, for producers, OTT is a big boon for us because we de-risk quite a bit. Before, we used to have a satellite, a little bit of music market, and everything else depends on the merit of your film. If the film does not run, you will end up losing about 50% of your investment. With OTT coming in, we actually, theatrical numbers is what we make as profit. So the base is covered. So for a producer, OTT is a boon. For theaters, there was a small dip, but now the theaters are actually giving the maximum amount of revenue for any cinema. So I think OTT will probably find its own space, just like how satellite and TV did at one point of time, because theatrical is an experience because you come on a date with your friend or you are coming with a family. It's a social experience. So, yeah.
Wonderful. Well, that brings me to the end of the questions I have. Any more that... I see a friend of mine, Ashisha, at the end of the audience.
First of all, congratulations. Lovely to see that all of you had established yourself and come into business at the age of 21, 22. So congratulations for that. This question is to Rohini. Like you said when you went in that you had people working with your parents and now with you. Generally what happens is, I'm in the 4th generation and my next generation also has to come into business. But what we generally find is we do respect them, those who are working with our parents, but we find that so many things have changed and some people just refuse to move on. So have you felt the same, or did you come across something like that? How did you deal with it? Or with the people, in fact?
Thank you for the question. There are a few people who had very different visions and very different ideologies. So they retired very gracefully. We thank them a lot for their services. But it's better when you're running a ship, everyone has to row, or on a boat, you all have to row together. Someone can't go against it. So you have to work together as a team. And in our company, leadership is joint. I think it's a shared responsibility. It's not my way is the right way. It's whatever works best. I respect everyone a lot and I expect that back in return, and it's worked out well for me.
There was a question at the end of the hall. You can pass a microphone there.
Hi, my question is for Archana actually. So, firstly, congratulations on the Producers Council post. So, specifically, I just wanted to check that is extremely male dominated, not just now, but like for generations to come. So, like, business is one aspect, but when you're trying to bring about change, I think that's like a really good place to start. So, how is it over there? And more specifically, within the Producers Council itself, like, when it comes to union wages and stuff, do you feel that they can make like a big difference and eventually even curb corruption, bring about, make it easier for women, make it a safer environment, all of that? How do you feel the Producers Council comes into it?
See, the council is very, very important because only after being an active member and being on a leadership position there, I understood how vulnerable producers are. We only see the top 5 or 7 production houses. Out of every 300 films or 350 films that get made in a year, only 100 films actually see the light of day. The rest are canned. So first of all, we are actually, more than gender, first we're actually trying to protect the small producer. And that is that's something very, very close to my heart because I believe that a small film has to win for the industry to be healthy. Because anybody, I mean, not anyone, but it is easier to make films with bigger stars. We do that as well, but it is very difficult to make a small film win because it is based only on the script, and the script is the hero, right? And a lot of producers who come into the industry only have 2 crores, 3 crores, they make that film. So we are trying, so that is where we are working on, and we're trying to, more than union rules, we're trying to make sure that every film has an EP. And we're trying to ask them to actually submit the budget of a film to us so that we can vet it, help them understand where the pitfalls are, because after doing 25 films, when you show me a budget, I'll be able to tell you this is how much your art budget should be when someone narrates a scene. So because now when you read a bound, and that is something that I encourage if you want to ever get into production, is please ask your director for a bound where they give you all the details. And so when I read a bound, I actually make notes of the budget right next to every scene, so that by the end of the bound, I also sort of know how much you need to spend on a film. So this is the kind of education that we're trying to actually bring about to the council. We're also trying to get good vendors, because another major issue that small producers have, I'm sorry, I'm just going on about it because it's a pet passion of mine. The thing is, they don't know any of the legal paperwork. They have no idea whatsoever. They just go and sign away rights, which would bring them huge amounts of money. So we are trying to bring in basic legal contracts that are available within the production producers council. So any producer who is a member can actually take those. So this is your basic agreement with an audio company, with a satellite company and things like that, because you have to protect them, and the financing aspect as well. So it's a long road, but hopefully with the right guys on board, we should get there in the next decade. Yeah.
Thank you for that question. There's one more in the end.
Well, this is a question for Archana. Apart from getting the scripts right, which is the starting point of the entire film business as such, I am of the opinion that the entire films are getting choked in the screens by some biggies not allowing the Chota Mota films to go and get the screens at all, and some 70-year-old hero gets about 1,600 screens to blast off in a big way, and thereby virtually creating a MRTP kind of a situation, and he takes it all kind of a thing. And so this is the first part of the question. I'll ask the second part after you answer.
See, first of all, I don't think it's the market that decides the screens of a film. Like the exhibitors, right? For theatre owners, to screen a film, they need to have at least 35 people to watch the film for them to pay for the AC cost and the salary cost. So if they're going to screen a film that has less than 35 people watching it, they're actually running a loss. So what they do is they give preference to stars, because minimum guarantee you will get that 35 audience or 40 audience coming into a screen. So from a producer council aspect, what we try and do is we try and give a window for smaller films. And we tell the bigger producers, please tell us when you're going to release your bigger film so that those windows are slotted like how it is done in Hindi. Tamil, now we still don't have that kind of discipline, but we are working towards it. But the problem actually lies in, and I tell, like, see, we've also made small films. Like Love Today was a film that was shot with a 5 crore budget, with a new face, right? But you need to market it very, actually social media is a big help there because you don't have to spend in crores. You can spend about 10 lakhs and actually make sure that your film reaches the audience. And the audience needs like only one show and it'll pick up. But the script needs to be good. If your script is not good and if your movie is not good, even if you get the showcasing, audiences will not come. So this is, I don't know if I've answered your question, but...
No, how can I comment about the script is not good or the film is not good unless I have been given the chance to see the film? That is being prevented by the biggies occupying all...
No, so many small films come. So many small films come. I think they come and then there is no audience for the first weekend and then the producer doesn't have enough money to stretch it for the second weekend when the report is out.
Sure.
So the financial planning needs to be better on from their side.
The second part of the question is that why is the popcorn I buy locally over here costs only 5 rupees and the one which I buy it in the screens costs to about 186 rupees?
Yeah, it's the same reason why you'll find a roadside dosa for 10 bucks and you'll find it in Taj for 150. Because we spend on salaries, we spend on real estate, we spend on AC and infrastructure, and we need to pay the cost, and Tamil Nadu ticket prices are capped. So on the 120 we have to also pay a producer 60% of the share because he needs to make money. 40% now you get about 60 rupees per ticket. We will not be able to pay these costs. So our margin is actually only in the food. That is why you pay so much even in a 5-star hotel for the same idli or dosa. So, yeah.
Thank you.
So that brings us to the end of this evening. Thank you all for your participation. Thank you, Archana and Rohini, for being so honest and true. I think another round of applause is deserved. I had such a wonderful time being here with you and getting to know you two better. Thank you, MMA, for this opportunity. Thank you, FICCI FLO Chennai, for this opportunity. We had a wonderful evening. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to request Ms. Roshnini Raju. Please felicitate Ms. Archana Kalpathi on behalf of FLO Chennai. We had a very lovely evening. Thank you so much. May I request you to felicitate Ms. Rohini Manian? And now our wonderful moderator, Ms. Roshnini Raju. Captain.
You stay back, please.
May I request Group Captain? Ms. Vanita Venugopal will now propose the vote of thanks.
Just can everyone be seated for just 2 more minutes? We just want to deliver the vote of thanks. Because we are really grateful for this opportunity given by MMA, as well as we really heartfelt gratitude to the speakers here. So to have here with us women which truly represents the origin of grit, which we heard, perseverance, and look upon the career and excel so very well. Thank you once again for spending your time and sharing your story with us today. And we heard a lot of personal anecdotes, so really appreciate that. We are very grateful to Roshnini dear for her effortless and outstanding moderation during the event. Throughout the event, I saw your ability to engage the speakers and the audience has been commendable. So the topics meandered from being thick-skinned to staying with parents, starting young at business, which everybody shared in common, being working moms, which we all, quite a lot of women here share that, figuring out work-life balance, we are all figuring it out still, mental health, and it was so next door girl like a chat, and which kept the conversation fun and very real. A special thanks goes to our chairperson, Roshnini Raju. I'm very grateful for my stellar skilling team, which put this all together for us. So without them, I don't think we could have organized this. Our grand success, grateful to the sponsor, 361 Wealth, the Radiant Group, Satyabama University, Mehta Jewelry and Rocks for their generous contributions. We extend our appreciation to our gifting partners, Sadev, and our media partner, MedBites, for their valuable support. I would like to acknowledge, keeping the best for the last, MMA captain Vijay Kumar, who played a crucial role in making this event a success. We are incredibly thankful for this evening and effort, and thank you.
One more thing, 580 viewers watching this. Wow.
Yes, thank you viewers for taking time and watching this and for all the support. And also thank you to the wonderful husband who's here to support Roshnini.
Yes, please. Wonderful. We'll take it after,